Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third live webinar at the 23rd Social Entrepreneurship for Innovation in Health course. We'll take a brief pause so that everybody can join this session. And if you see your peers struggling to not see the screen, what you can do is drop a comment in the discussion forum, asking them to refresh their browsers. Also, don't forget to take the survey that you find below the screen that asks you, are you watching live? Please click yes to get your extra credit points. You won't get this survey if you're watching a recorded session. All right, then, welcome back to our weekly live webinar. This week, we opened up Module 3 that focuses on strategies for advancing social innovation within your institutions. We will have the chance to learn from real life examples of how this works in practice from our guest expert today. So feel free to drop your question for her in the discussion forum, and we'll take as many as we can over the next span of one hour. And for now, join me to welcome our guest expert for today, Omra Omer. She's an incredible change maker who exemplifies innovation, compassion, and resilience. Welcome to the webinar, Omra. How are you doing? Omra, you're on mute.
Thank you so much. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Great. Umra, before we start our conversation, I'd like to read out a small bio of you. So, Umra is a community conservation strategist and humanitarian from Kenya, born in Lamu and educated around the world. She holds a degree in neuroscience, psychology, and social justice. In 2015, she founded Safari Doctors, an organization delivering vital healthcare services to over 3,000 patients each month around remote Kenya. She also nurtures the next generation of youth to become health ambassadors. Her groundbreaking work has earned several international accolades, from being named the CNN Hero to UN Kenya Person of the Year. She's also an Ashoka Fellow. So, welcome, Umra, once again, and it's a pleasure and honor for us to host you today. Umra, before we start our conversation around various aspects of your the work that you're doing and certain real life experiences, can you take us briefly through your professional journey as a social entrepreneur? What make you arrive at social entrepreneur as a social entrepreneur, and what is the story of founding Safari Doctors?
So my journey starts as ABCG, and then at some point I go back to my village in Kenya, and I realized that people don't have access to basic healthcare, and I found Safari Doctors.
Thank you, Umra, for sharing that story and setting that context. I know that healthcare is a basic need, and seldom you have government or seldom you have people who pay attention to creating that access. So it's a great work that you're doing. Would you like to play the video?
Yeah, I have a video here with me, and here playing the video, end of the video.
Thank you, beautiful. Umra, in your experience, where do you think typically you can take the first entry point in driving innovation within an existing institution, especially in the healthcare sector? Which is the entry point?
Yeah, the main issue is to identify where exactly your resources can be most useful. Um, Make sure that you're connecting with allies and partners so you can move things forward.
Thank you, Umra. So, doing a bit of legwork of finding people who can work with you and also identifying the resources that can be to your advantage. That's a great recommendation. Thank you. Umra, now you know that social entrepreneurs are people who are trying to change the system from within. So, where do you typically see what is the mindset? Or sorry. So, in your experience, what do you typically see? I've got confused. Sorry, Isa. I got confused between two questions.
Just that's okay.
Okay. So, entrepreneurs are people who are trying to change the system from within. So, what do you think these people, the entrepreneurs, what kind of mindsets or behavior they should have to become an entrepreneur?
So entrepreneurs tend to think from within. So it's also always important to know how which resources are available in the institutions they're part of, and so they can make good use of it and connect also with the business plan and the business priority of the organization.
That's a very important point. Knowing about the business, knowing about the systems within, and the priorities is a great recommendation because that will allow them to see how their innovation can also contribute directly to the business. Thank you, Umra. Umra, many innovations remain pilot and don't scale. So, what have you learned about embedding solutions into systems so that they can sustain beyond the implementation stage?
Um, so to scale, you need to be in the right moment, in the right place of your business, of your enterprise. So it's not the same skill set and the same team that you need. So the most important thing is to know when is the right moment to do so. Scaling is always not is not necessarily an ultimate goal. You need to be ready for that, and knowing when is the right moment is key.
Thank you. Thank you for that learning. Umra, now this week in our course, we are learning about the strategies of social innovation. So, given your experience, institutions often come with rigid structures and constraints. Can you give us an example of how have you tackled systems and structures to move forward with your ideas?
You mean how I managed to uh, work within rigid
Institute.
structures, or
Yes, yes. If you have, because I know that you also had a corporate job before you became a social entrepreneur. So I'm looking at a real life experience of how did you kind of, tackle any of these situations where you were working within structures and systems, and then you had an idea. How did you make your way up forward?
yeah. So like you said, there are structures and there are constraints, but it's as long as you're working, um, you're making sure that you're making the business case for that one institution that you're part of, then you can be more successful.
Thank you, Umra. We're moving to your institution, which is Safari Doctors. They work very closely with local government and communities, and you've built kind of very successful partnerships. So, what strategies have helped you to build trust and align different stakeholders around the agenda of shared innovation?
It's always important to find the right partners, and all need to be looking for the same direction. So make sure that the partners and potential partners you are considering, they have the same vision you do, or if it's not the same priorities, at least that they have you all have the same end goal.
Thank you. Thank you. And you really pointed out to a very valuable insight. Next week, in the module 4, we have co-creation and shared leveraging shared value, which exactly talks this in a little bit more detailed. So I completely agree with your insight about finding the right partners, finding the right values, and aligning everybody to work together. Also, can you tell us, what strategies you employ personally to manage your time, resources, and priorities because you are driving such a high impact social enterprise?
Yeah, I make sure that my team is collaborative, that my team, that everyone is working with the same goal as well, uh, that they feel that they have the support of their peers. That makes them more productive and also morale grows.
Thank you. Those were some very practical tips, very adaptable also. Umra, in social innovation, often, as we said, like you already are working with so many partners. How have you managed what has been your strategy around cross-sector partnerships and what makes them effective?
Working across sector is really important, especially if you want to create larger impact. We all need to know that the private sector, the public sector, they have different paces, and sometimes the level of bureaucracy and the type of bureaucracy is different. So understanding those and educating yourself on those differences is also very key.
Great. Yeah, creating partnerships, can it be stressful, Umra? I'm just asking you because, yeah, we always see the good examples. Do you think creating partnerships can also be like stressful?
It can be stressful and it can be hard, but I think it's a learning curve. The more you do it, the better you get on that.
Yeah, I believe that you have to have a 360-degree experience of managing everything. As you look forward, what excites you the most about the potential of working with systems to drive large-scale social change?
Yeah, it's the most exciting thing is knowing that there are already systems in place. You don't need to build them from scratch. It's just about polishing and refining things so they can serve more people.
Thank you, Umra. Umra, now, I'm very specifically going to ask you this question because you started Safari Doctors, but before that, which is an entity that blends purpose with action. But we know that that was a bold decision that you took. You had a flourishing career in US, but you had a calling because you knew that your community had systems which was overlooking the need for basic healthcare, and you returned home and you created Safari Doctors. How do you stay? So I'm going to ask you about your sustained resilience. How do you stay resilient when you face setbacks or any challenges, whether it is a policy challenge or a regular logistical hurdle? How do you stay resilient, and what role does perseverance play in sustaining and growing mission-driven enterprise like your organization?
Yeah, so the most important characteristics for someone trying to create change is the ability to be resilient, and learning from what doesn't go as expected. And as long as whatever you're doing leaves you with a learning, then you're still moving forward, then you're still progressing.
Yeah, so the underlining takeaway is that you should keep moving forward and keep your lessons. Thank you, Umra. Umra, what advice would you have for our learners on how to identify underlying causes of social challenges? And do you have any other advice of how they should embark their social impact journeys?
Yeah, to always talk with the communities and with the people that you want to affect, that you want to support. Um, that they are going to be the ones that are going to give you the most straightforward answers, and make sure that you take time to talk with them. It's not a 1 hour thing, a 2 hour thing. That you deeply understand their doubts, their questions, their pains. That's when the solutions are going to be the most effective.
Thank you so much, and that's very important. Understanding what is what is the problem and how it is impacting people. So, investing time in research certainly is an important factor. Sadly,
And
Umra, we have
research
to.
research with the communities, not only research by
Yes,
yourself.
yes.
Make that as a collective effort. Talk with different stakeholders. Don't try to solve things by yourself. Don't make assumptions based on your own personal research. Um, Communicate with people. The more brains involved in identifying the solutions, the more material, the more perspective you get.
Absolutely. That's a very important thing. Like not depend on secondary research alone, but actually going to the communities, looking at what conditions they live in. If there are other people who are working there to talk to them, it does make sense. And if you in your research, if you come across funders, you look at other system partners like government, talking to them and taking experiences, what worked, what didn't, will also allow you not to reinvent the wheel but to come up with solution that complements. So that's a very important learning. Thank you. Umra, sadly, we have to wrap up this great conversation in interest of time, but I'm sure all of our learners would have had a great intake of wisdom from you. Moving to the final reflection, many of our learners, as I said, aspire to change the systems, make change from within their organizations. So you've been a social entrepreneur for quite some time now. So What are the lessons of social entrepreneurship that you think applies to social entrepreneurs?
The resilience is definitely one of them. Not doing things by yourself is another one. Making sure that you're making good use of the resources available. Speaking with the community, all those things will serve you if you are an entrepreneur or if you are an entrepreneur.
Great. So thank you. I think that's very important. So I recollect four things that you spoke about, and certainly resilience is the topmost. And then, of course, the resources which is being used. And then you don't do it alone. I would like do it with people, identify your allies. And um, I've dropped the fourth one. I'm sorry. Okay. With that said, I'm sure we will have a lot of our learners are going to take some of these lessons and use it in practice. Thank you, Umra. Thanks a lot. This was an incredibly enriching session. We wanted to hear more real life examples from you, but given the time uh, constraint, we will like to thank you and we'd like to wish you all the very best for your ever evolving and successful future endeavor with Safari Doctors. Thank you, Umra, for being with us today.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for joining us. Before we wrap up, I would like to highlight that next week is the consolidation and catch up week, where we will not open any new module, but we will let you catch up with any of the modules or the lectures that you missed or you'd like to revisit. Nevertheless, we will meet you over a live community session on 5th of May at 11 a.m., which is next Tuesday. This is a special interactive session which will give all of you the chance to meet with us and your peers and talk about your projects, course insights, and plans to implement positive changes in your institution and communities. Natalie and I look forward to meeting all of you. So please block your calendars to be with us. And thank you once again for being with us. We'll continue to talk to you in the discussion forum. Bye for now.
Bye bye.